Hi, this is Brennan Davis from the Bedrock blog and Bedrock Games, and I'm here with Adam and Joel. And it's been a while. You know, we've had some complications, which we're probably not going to get too into in this podcast, but they've been technical and personal. And we're back with the discussion of In the Line of Duty 3. This is going to be a little more casual than usual because we're working out the kinks in our in the technical issues that we've been having. So again, we're doing In the Line of Duty 3. This is when the movie became a franchise, basically. The first movie is Yes, Madam. The second movie is Royal Warriors. The first two starred Michelle Yeoh, and this is the one where Cynthia Khan comes in. And it's kind of an interesting plot about a jewelry heist with two members of the Japanese Red Army, basically, who are, what are they called? The Duo Robbers? Is that their names in this movie?
Not in my translation.
Okay, in mine they were called the Duo Robbers. So
the male and female thief is what they were called every single time.
Well, I'm going to be calling them the Duo Robbers for the duration of this. And also this has
male and female thief is so much better.
But this movie also stars Yu Hua as Yamamoto, so it's kind of a cool. He isn't as big of a character as you would think he would be, given that it's Yu Hua.
Yeah,
you know, he kind of gets eclipsed by the Duo Robbers, but it's nice that he's in the movie. And there's a number of other interesting side characters, but really the star of the movie is Cynthia Khan, who plays the inspector in the film, and you know it kind of just is like, I would say, from beginning to end, it's just like this. It's like an intense action movie that is peppered with all of these little comedic beats throughout, and it never really loses its footing. It just kind of is like a very tightly done, I guess, for lack of better terminology, girls with guns, action extravaganza. So I believe this was both of your first times watching it. So why don't you guys give me what your reactions were to seeing it for the first time?
So I was skeptical about this film. I remember you pitching it to us, and I was like, I've never heard of this. This is going to be weird. Generally, whenever you pitch a film, that's my first reaction is, oh, this is going to be garbage. And then, I'll watch it for 3 minutes, as I do, every time, right? I'm always just like, I don't know about this. I don't think Brendan Davis knows anything about wuxia. And then I'll watch it for 3 minutes, and it'll become my favorite movie before the end of it. You did that to me with Chinese Ghost Story, you did it to me with Golden Swallow, and you did it to me again with this one.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, there's no way. And then again, 3 minutes in, we've got a Chun-Li level of kick flipping going on, and I'm like, okay, well, all right, movie, I guess I'll give you a shot. It's, maybe you're not so bad. And then this movie's like being in a fist fight with a guy that's just drunk enough that you can't tell if he's kidding or not, right?
Yeah.
He'll crack a joke, and then he'll crack your face with his fist, and you're like, whoa, okay, where am I at? This movie constantly took me off guard, constantly, and I loved it. And it did actually make me laugh a few times. I'm not going to spoil your favorite laugh, but that was the best laugh.
Yeah, that was my favorite laugh. Well, there was another one. That I liked too.
The movie, because it keeps going.
Yeah.
There's no. This movie's airtight, right? So it drops that amazing line, and I'm cackling, and I'm missing important plot beats. I'm like, oh damn it! So I had to pause it and go back.
It's like a very Cantonese style of humor to that line, and it's just the way they just have this way of kind of dropping those in as all this stuff is going on, and you still catch it. It's amusing. But Adam, what did you think of it?
I agree with your point about it having a nice balance between the comedy and the action. I didn't feel like they ever stepped on each other's toes. It's like there was an intensity to the movie and the action and everything that the comedy never actually undermined. And overall, this was just a great movie to get back into the doing the podcasting again. 'Cause it's been a long time. This was just like a really solid meat and potatoes 80s action Hong Kong movie. It just gave you exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, that's what I like. It's not like trying to be anything other than it is, and it's doing everything on all the cylinders are firing at top level. And somebody who's maybe not as into this stuff might watch it and be like, well, that's weird. Why are they doing that? That seems highly inappropriate what they're doing right now. But it's in the context of this style of movie, it's like it's like everything is just working perfectly, and that's what I. If you this is the kind of movie too. If you're versed in these genres, it's really well put together. Do you know what I mean? Just the way, just the way that all the pieces fall into place are just perfect. Again, I think Joel mentioned it, but the moment when she like rips her skirt is like when it's like, okay, now we're like getting into it, and it's like it's kind of like she announces herself as okay, like, because I feel like even if you're watching it years later and you know that there's an In the Line of Duty series and all that, and you've maybe seen Yes Madam, you're probably going to be on the fence just because she's filling Michelle Yeoh's boots, and so it's like it's kind of like, well, who's going to match Michelle Yeoh from Yes Madam? That was an unbelievable movie, and so there's kind of a declaration when she like rips the skirt and does like, I forget, it's like a wild Taekwondo style kick. I can't remember exactly what it is.
Hey,
but
her moves kept reminding me of Wing Chun. I don't know if that's what it actually is, but that's what it reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I mean, I don't know. It could have been any number of things, but those kicks looked very Taekwondo to me. I don't know if I know she later was doing Taekwondo, but I don't know if that was a factor here. But just anytime I see good kicks, I tend to assume it's Taekwondo. It's like
Taekwondo's a great kicking style, man.
But yeah, that I also just liked how the scene starts where it's like, he's just like, if you can, try to catch the robber. She's being she's like they're introducing her to being a cop. It's her first day, and he's like, but don't like go crazy. Basically, he's like, just do what you can. And he's like, oh, there's somebody with a parking violation. Go take care of that. And it just spirals out of control as like she, huh?
Well, it does. That scene is amazing because because he's given her such flack, and like you can kind of tell, like the movie presents her in this way where it's like it's clear she's kind of holding back.
Yeah.
Right. She's got this like unbelievable confidence walking into this movie. She just struts into it like, yeah, I could kill any of these guys, but I'm not gonna. Like that's just the energy she got. And until things get really serious, she's like putting up with this guy's guff. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay your stupid parking ticket. Yeah. And then she sees this robber, rips her skirt, starts kung fu kicking him. Then he like barrels past her and takes the dude as a hostage at gunpoint. So not having a gun, she takes some other cop's gun, which is attached to him.
Yeah.
And she has to like manhandle him around in this like tense hostage situation. It's incredible. Yep. Oh, it's so good. They use the elements from the earlier part of the scene and the later part of the scene. Yeah. The guy who was giving her guff is begging for his life. Oh man, and the music is such like it's a wonderful like 80s like action-y kind of synthscape that's really fun, and it really matches the action really well. I liked it. I will say I liked it. 7 out of 10, whatever, no big deal.
What I thought kind of stood out about, I think Cynthia Khan is like the main feature of this film. Like she's the reason the film works. Mm-hmm. But the other aspect of it is the villains get kind of an unusual level of depth to them for this kind of movie, where you actually start to see things a little bit from their point of view, and you feel kind of like you don't necessarily side with them, but you completely understand, why what's her name, Machiko Nishikawa, or no, Machiko Nishiwaki, sorry. You understand exactly why she's doing what she's doing. There's like a lot of her motivation makes sense, and there's a little bit of like an emotional weight to it. But at the same time, her and the guy are very vicious, and they need to be stopped. So it's I thought that added, again, like because in the first Yes Madam movie, the villain's very entertaining and interesting, but he's more like Mr. Yamamoto, and you kind of think Mr. Yamamoto is going to be the big villain in this because he's more in line with that kind of a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like the guy who's like, he's just like that. His one defining trait was his laugh, and he worked it in a number of ways. And Mr. Yamamoto's kind of got like the sunglasses and the hat and the big suit, and he's this rich guy who looks like he's living it up. And it really turns out to be these like, these extremists who are robbing the money to fund a cause that are the real bad guys.
On that note too, I found it interesting that the guy who was Yamamoto's security officer, they have this big introduction for him and everything, or he's flirting and so on, and it's like, and I thought, okay, he's the security guy for the bad guy.
Yeah.
At that point, like you say, I was thinking I was thinking he was going to be the big bad of the movie, and I'm like, okay, so it's going to be is there going to be some conflict of interest with him? Is there going to be, is he going to side with the cops? Is he going to side with the guy he's defending? And he just kind of drops out of the movie, and like none of those things really kind of came up. So I kind of found that interesting.
Well, and the woman Nishiwaki Machiko, she who played the dual warbler, she was like a real power lifter and stuff, or I forget which. Okay. She's like a bodybuilder. She did, and she's, and she also was she ended up, I think she was Lucy Liu's stunt double in Charlie's Angels and in Kill Bill.
I could see that.
Yeah. She was very good.
She was physically intimidating. Like
yes,
I really well, and they contrast that with our lead, right? Who's really small and light, like, but has a lot of like kinetic energy. So during fights, she uses her maneuverability a lot, and quick thinking to win, right? Because she can't really power through anybody. Like, she's fighting full-grown adult men, right? But like
well, you should see her in. Have you guys ever seen My Lucky Stars, the Jackie Chan movie?
Oh God, probably.
She's got a killer scene, and that's kind of like her breakthrough scene. And the other one is God of Gamblers is another one that she's she's got like an important role. Yeah, but My Lucky Stars, you don't even have to watch the whole movie. Just go and look up her name and watch the clip of that fight. It's a really cool scene, and you can see why they would have cast her for a movie like this.
This movie did a good job of making the female characters very convincing in the fight scenes.
Yeah.
I thought overall it actually.
Well, and it was kind of neat that it ended up really being between the two of them. I know. I could kind of see it was leading up to that at the end. I'm like, okay, what are these two finally going to get to face off one-on-one? And that final scene is so brutal. Like, this movie is real. Like, there are moments that are difficult to watch in this movie because they're so visceral, Like the way
now that fight with the Japanese cop where he's having his big fight scene where they're just like torn to pieces. They can both barely stand up and they're both leaning against the wall. I was like, this is fantastic. They were suffering.
I love the Japanese cop character was so great. Just like the hair, the way that the hair is like the whole role. You know what I mean? But he's like a noir character. Yeah, he feels. Go ahead. Go.
He's Japanese Columbo.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. But by placing him into the Hong Kong setting, it's like he's like so out of place, and he's like, one of the subplots is like, he's going around shooting, and he's not supposed to be doing that, and like all these people die, and so there's this movie. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it just kind of cracked me up. They keep like, this isn't Japan, this is Hong Kong. Yeah. It's like, yes, you're not in lawless Japan where people throw the rules away at a whim.
That's what Japan is famous for.
It was just like the oddest stereotype of Japan I've ever encountered in a movie.
Well, they do some really funny Japanese stereotypes where the time he pretends to commit suicide and the Chinese guy freaks out and runs away, like, oh, he's doing it, and he ninjas up into the rafters and leaves. Like, they keep doing ninja jokes and things like that. I'm like, what weird stereotypes. They even played,
I don't know if you noticed, but when every time he appears on screen, they play slightly Japanese sounding music, and I think it goes over. I think it's easy to miss because as a Western viewer, you're not real. You're just thinking, it's but it's specific to him, and.
Yeah, I think if you're in the mindset of Asian is Asian, like if you haven't watched a lot of these movies and you don't understand, like, you're not like acquainted with all the little differences that might fly over your head, but man, I heard it every time, and I'm like,
they kind of do that like in a lot of these Chinese movies with like scenes set in India where they suddenly start playing exotic music that's meant to denote that they're in India. But yeah, so the other thing that you have to talk about is the very acrobatic sex sequence in like the first, I don't know, like 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. There's that one scene.
And for a Hong Kong movie, that was probably the most intense scene like that I've encountered so far in a Hong Kong movie.
I actually laughed. It was so unexpected. I didn't know how to react. I was like, "Oh, they're really going at it. They're really going at it. Oh my god!"
Oh, go
It was
ahead. Adam.
interesting that it did actually like reveal personality of the two characters. I felt though, like a lot of times you'd think, oh, it's a gratuitous sex scene, but I'm like, well, that actually fleshed out the characters a lot. With that scene, so it was very interesting.
That scene serves so many functions. So number one, it's there's humor in that scene, just in like the physicality of what's going. Like that's not normal lovemaking. Number one. But it also is, but it highlights the physical specimens that they are. So it adds to both. Like later in the film, like even like seeing both of them naked like that, you realize, oh, these people are both like very physically fit, and so
they're living tanks. Like they're freaking built, dude. Both of them.
But then it also, like Adam was saying, it's like the depth of character where. Like this is where you realize that the man is dying, and you realize that she's in love with him, and you're not, again, we can get into like what's actually killing him because that's a little bit ambiguous, but I have my theories, but the way that all kind of ties together in that scene really works. And I think it's also just kind of stylistically very interesting. It's not like like Adam was saying. Like I don't think I mean I've seen a lot of weird sex scenes in movies like this, but that one was filmed in a way where it's like that's kind of unusual. Just the way that they decide, like the side angle that they're doing, and like all these other things. It's like, this is like it's a sex scene, but actually it's a very well composed shot. Like there's structure there.
It's not particularly erotic either. It really feels character driven.
No,
and you're right.
Exactly.
It shows off them as physical, like intimidating beings with and the particulars of their relationship. And then like where she like grabs his hair and a big clump of it comes out. It's like, oh, that was such a shocking moment, and it already this is a scene that grabs your attention for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them. And it's shocking, right? Because she looks at it like, oh no, she expected it to happen, which is it's informing so much. I've never seen a sex scene that had, I've seen a couple, but I've probably never seen one that was quite as concise in terms of utility to the plot and characters, right? It's actually really impressive. And also the weirdness makes it uncomfortable too, and I think that's kind of important, like because the guy is dying, and there's some like I don't know if it was I kind of assumed it was HIV based on the time period, even though the symptoms don't seem to match HIV at all. No one knew what HIV did exactly. No, but it was like what, I think it came out in 88. 88 it came out in. Yeah. Well, I think people knew, but I just don't expect that level of precision in a movie like this with that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Not really. But the other reason I thought that is because she said, we'll die together, and then she drinks his blood. Do you know what I mean? So it was like... Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, so that's why I think it might have been like radiation poisoning or something. It could have been radiation.
Yeah, radiation poisoning is what I've heard speculated about.
Okay. Well, the other reason I thought HIV is because there was another movie, I can't remember the name, but it's a T. Lung movie where he plays a boxing coach, and he has a mysterious illness, a blood disease. We don't know what it is, and he's dying. And it was made in like 1987 or something. And so everybody just assumes it's AIDS. And I don't know, it feels like that was what was in the air in 1988. You know what I mean? Was. Like,
but it's I don't know, but the speculation in the booklet that came with my Blu-ray, it speculated that he had radiation sickness.
Okay.
We went way out on a limb here. He had radiation sickness, and because he's Japanese, it would have been something related to America dropping the bomb. Okay. And that's why he was siding with the Red Army, because he was
that's an interesting angle too. I personally do like. I think HIV makes the doomed love thing a little bit more. Again, it's just speculation, but
I'm not sure. Just because he's dying and she isn't, and it's like, why would she not have?
But here's what but the thing is, prior to, we don't know if they've actually had sex prior to that. Do you know what I mean? And that's the scene where she drinks his blood and says, "Well, worst case, we die together." Do you know what I mean? And again, she could just be talking about dying in a blaze of glory. So radiation sickness might well be what it was, but.
It's also possible it just goes along with the weird Japanese stereotypes thing, because you have the other scene later in the movie where the other guy cuts his wrist and is like, I will help you with your vengeance. It's like they're just acting like it's
exactly.
You know,
All blood.
when
No,
you're
that's
Japanese,
true.
you slit your wrists a lot. You know, it's a thing you do.
So, but either way, that scene, like for a very short, gratuitous scene, that definitely there's a lot going on. I think is the.
Yeah, all these theories are as valid as any other. I think it's just.
But
yeah, I kind of like that it leaves questions though. You're just like, I'm not.
I prefer not to know
sure
the
what's going
specifics.
on. Yeah.
Well, and the great thing about it being kind of vague, and this is just me loving wuxia in general, is that it could be a curse. You know, it could be a chi malaise. Like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe his
Yeah.
chakra aren't aligned. You know, it could be something really goofy. And the fact they don't tell us lets me imagine that without ruining the movie for everyone else.
Yeah, because all we know is that he's taking pills and his hair is falling out, and he is like having this like weird episodes in bed where he's, you know, in pain. But again, I don't.
Purple. I gotta remember.
Yeah, I just feel like with these movies, I just learned not to trust this. I don't feel like the symptoms are ever going to be medically accurate to what the disease is, especially in the 80s. You know, we even like, not just because it's a Hong Kong movie either. I just feel like in the 80s we were very hand wavy about those things. You know what I mean?
This is true in general, but specifically in Hong Kong, like you'll see a movie where a guy gets cured by eating a dead lizard. Like, come on, man. Like, Hong Kong didn't help.
But the other thing is the comedy. I thought that, and again, it's not like, I don't want to give the wrong impression. This is not like Police Story or something like that. The comedy is very interspersed with the action, and it doesn't usually. It tends not to overwhelm it, I don't think. But there are these moments, like the scene with the flowers, where the guy that Adam thought was going to be the other big bad showed up, and he's just like this very, I don't know what. I just can't help but laugh. Just the way he carries himself made me laugh the whole scene, where he delivers the flowers.
Great performance.
Yeah,
it really was.
And the way he keeps blowing smoke at the other lady or flicking his ash into her hand.
That was every time he did something, it was just the most audacious thing, and it made me laugh every time.
And the contempt he has for her, he's smiling the whole time, but he's doing these horrible things to her, and he's still just carrying on the conversation with Cynthia Khan. It's
Well, my favorite part of that is that everyone else is like, yeah, no, she deserves that. Like, they don't even bat an eye at this awful abuse of their coworker. It's just like, no.
Well, because the whole time before that, she was like bragging about how all these guys, you know, and she was ripping down the other guy for being too skinny, you know. So,
yeah, they were just letting karma play out. Like, you know what? And that's fine.
But the other line is my favorite, and that's when the bomb goes off in the police station and chaos breaks out, and somebody says, "Call the police." And somebody says, "Idiot! This is the police." And just the way it's said, and it was just perfect.
Because in the confusion of the moment, even I was like, "Oh God, they gotta call the cops,"
Yeah.
you know. And so, like, I got to be the idiot in that scene, but I also got to be like, "Oh wait, no."
Now, what did you guys think of the uncle getting killed? How did that sit with you?
Oh, that broke my heart because they already shot him in the ass.
Yeah.
Didn't he suffer enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, you figured he's safe after that, right? Like, he recovered. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was dead when he went into the water. I was like, oh well, there goes the uncle. So I was like, oh, he's still alive, and then they
I
took
was
him
so
away.
happy. Well, and he was like comic relief the whole movie, and he got shot in the ass in the end, and he was making jokes about it. And you're right, he feels invincible. You're like, oh, he'll be fine. No one's gonna kill, goofy old uncle. And no, they blow him up.
Yeah.
He dies horribly. He's hamburger.
Yeah.
They kill him with a drone strike. Like, man, this movie was looking to the future.
Yeah. The remote helicopter, right, that flies right into the. Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Well, the guy, the thief, the male thief character, his death. I mean, he just gets fucking plowed over. It's just
Yeah. And the other guy, the Dick Way character too,
brutal.
right?
That's a really
yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of is the guy who gets the toxic waste dumped on him in
RoboCop,
and
yeah.
he gets hit with the car and he
Yeah.
explodes.
Well, this did come out like I think a year after RoboCop, right? So it's not inconceivable that they were influenced by that. Yeah, that was because he's all wrapped up in bandages. He looks like shit, and he just gets plowed by the car. It's
There's chunks everywhere.
but that also adds so
Then I
much to
think-
the revenge plot line of it because she sees the cop run over her lover. You know what I mean? So it's like it puts all of the blame onto the Cynthia Khan character for the death. You know.
Well, here's the other thing too. It's a parallel because with the Japanese cop who's on his revenge streak was trying to hold his partner up, and he's holding on to him, and he got wounded and eventually couldn't. And how does she lose her lover? She's falling out of the van.
That's a good point.
Holding on to him, so it actually parallels that.
Yeah, I did like, even though it was kind of schmaltzy, I did like the way they handled the Japanese cop losing his partner and then going to the cemetery and like promising to get revenge for the, you know, it was
a little kid.
Yeah, it was sufficiently over the top for the kind of movie that it is, I think, you know.
Yes, oh man, I wish it's hard to get a kid that's able to compellingly act stuff. That one was particularly bad. I was like, whoa, boy, kid, I know you're speaking Japanese, but I don't care. I know that's bad delivery.
Yeah, it was I'm
gonna be a cop like Daddy was a cop. I'm gonna fight those bad guys. Will you give me your gun?
I think it was. I don't have a gun. You need to get the bad guys for me. I think that was something like that, right? Isn't that the line?
Yeah. Bad child acting transcends all languages. I think.
Yep. Sorry, kid. You're no Japanese version of Macaulay Culkin. I'll die on that hill. I loved him as a child actor. He was really good. He had a lot of charisma.
Good.
I was too old to appreciate that era of.
I was too old for his movies, but having watched them with my nephews and stuff.
Well, not to go on a side tangent, but one of the reasons I also wasn't too into stuff like Home Alone was the person who pitched it to me as a great movie to go see was the guidance counselor at our school, and he was like the guidance counselor from South Park, like to a T. And so it just didn't.
What's gonna see is Home Alone, right? Okay. You gotta go watch it. It's got lots of good morals, okay? And you can learn things from it about independence, okay?
So I actually didn't see Home Alone until like after 2000. I think my wife was the one that made me watch it. But
I might have never watched it under those circumstances. Guidance counselors are terrible.
Yeah. But and also by then I had known the trajectory of Macaulay Culkin's career, so it cast a different light on the performance, you know.
Fair enough. He was really good in The Good Son too. Actually, I like pretty much everything.
I did see The Good Son.
Was that the one with was Elijah Wood in that one?
In the theater, and he was very good in that.
Was that the one with Elijah? Was that the one with Elijah Wood, where the mom
it was like the remake
chooses to drop Macaulay Culkin instead of the right? Doesn't she have to pick between the two of them, and she picks
she drops Macaulay Culkin. And Macaulay Culkin playing a real close
30-year-old movie.
But years old. Don't tell me these things, Adam.
But his brother was in an interesting movie, I think called Lords of Chaos. It's about the black metal murders. It was actually a pretty interesting film. I think it's. Let me look it up while we're talking. But
is this one of the murders designed in RPG? I think I know the story.
Lords of Chaos. Rory Culkin. It came out just a few years ago. No, it's about the murder of Euronymous, from the black metal scene. There's I don't know, it cast kind of a shadow over the whole black metal scene for a while in the 90s. But anyways,
who would think music about murder and violence have a dark underbelly? That's crazy.
But anyways, back to this movie. I think this is like for a part 3, this is a spectacular film. Like I highly recommend this to folks, and I think Yes Madam is definitely, for me, that's like, it's Yes Madam. I think of that as the best movie in the
classic.
Yeah,
isn't
it?
Like
I think 3 and Royal Warriors. I don't know. I kind of have to summon up more energy to watch Royal Warriors, so I would say Yes Madam I think is more entertaining than Royal Warriors. But
I haven't seen Royal Warriors. So.
It's a good movie, but it just, I don't know. I think Yes Madam is better. I think
the tone of your voice does not say that it's a good movie. It says that it's a tolerable movie with good parts.
No, it's a good. It's just I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't want to I just think Yes Madam is the better movie. But part 3 and 4 I think are also very standout in the series.
And this movie was fantastic.
Yeah, and part 4 you get Donnie Yen. Yeah, part 4 you get Donnie Yen involved in it, so it's like you know.
Yeah, we got to see part 4,
Yeah.
dude. Don't be in. Yeah,
So,
I'm in. Sold.
but yeah, so I don't know, any parting thoughts before we end our first return to podcasting in I don't know how many months.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 2 or 3 months. It's been way too long.
At least 3, I would think.
It's been too long. This was a good one to return
I've been
on,
out
though.
of
This, like, dude, I'm with you. Like, me, it's just my job getting so stressful. But like, yeah, we all have.
I mean, I've been out of
completely
action since
understandable
March, so.
reasons. Yeah, you get back into it though.
Well, and also
Getting
that's
back
it
into
was
it.
Oh, yeah.
it coincided
Oh, yeah.
with Skype coming down, and you know people don't know this, but we recorded on Skype, and so we had to figure out a way to record on Discord, and that proved to be a lot more difficult than we thought it would be. In fact, as I'm saying this, I don't know how well this recording is going to turn out when we play it back. So, you know, we might just be
This will
putting
be
out a
the
garbled
only
mess.
legible
Yeah.
part.
We may be talking to ourselves
Yeah.
because no one may ever hear this
Yeah.
recording. So.
So I think, in light of that, I think we're at the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to end the podcast now, if that's okay with everybody.
All right.
And so we'll be back on. We'll have more movies. We'll have more discussions. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.